Welcome to the Wizards of Ecom, your no-fluff playbook for online success. Each episode is fully packed with actionable tactics you can implement in your business right now. Take your life to a higher level and excel in your online success. It's time to work on you and your business. Let's do this.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Wizards of Ecom. My name is Noemi and I'll be your host. Today we have the amazing Kristin Ostander on the show, who is an online reselling expert, founder of Mommy Income, and also host of the Amazon Files podcast. Kristin, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Glad to be here.
I'm super glad to have you. I love the way how you're branding yourself, and something that I noticed, you mentioned that you are a mom boss, but besides that, you're also a wholesale bundling queen, which today I would like to discuss about, right? And you also have a unique way to create wholesale bundles. So that's something particular that I would like to discuss about, and especially for newbies or starting level. What is wholesale bundling?
Awesome. So wholesale bundling is buying products that are highly complementary to one another and combining them into one product that brings speed, variety, and convenience to the customer. So putting naturally things that go well together, like think of shampoo and conditioner go well together, or something that you're using in the same space or the same way all the time, putting those things together all in one package and offering that as a single product for your customer so they don't have to shop around. You give them the convenience of buying things all in one package. And so that's the definition of wholesale bundles.
That sounds amazing. So if you're starting, what kind of upfront investment should you look at when you're starting out with your first bundle idea?
So you can really start bundles for very inexpensively. If you're doing something like a retail arbitrage, you can maybe test out some bundles at retail price to see if they do well for you. But even with wholesaling, a lot of people think it's very expensive to start, but the kind of investment you might need. If you already have wholesalers, you could just look at some of their products and order, maybe their minimum order. But as little as $300, you could even start with bundling with certain wholesalers to be able to just test the marketplace. I like people to try and start with bundles at maybe 6 to 12 to start, not bundles, but actual units that you send in, because sending one or two usually doesn't get the traction that you want. So I would definitely think of, it's pretty low investment to get started. I would say less than $500, even less than $300.
I love that you say that, because most of the time when I was looking into wholesaling, everyone was like, if you invest like $100,000, you will get like 20,000, 30,000 out. And I was like, yeah, but I don't have the money. So I love that you said that, okay, I don't want to give up like so much money and to learn on that amount. Rather, I would learn on $300, $500. That's definitely, that's doable, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What kind of margins would you expect there?
The wholesale bundle formula, the wholesale bundle system that I've created really allows you to have so much more profit than maybe even single wholesale items, because you don't have a lot of the competition. You're creating kind of a new, I call it poor man's private label as another way to call bundles, because you're using wholesale products, but you're actually creating something new by adding, think about like a gift basket. So that's like a really good way to describe a bundle as well. It doesn't have to be a gift, but something that's like you're putting multiple things together that go together that people would use in the same space. And because of that, you're able to build in more profit per item, because you're not having, the fees aren't being taken out every single time, every single transaction. It's one transaction. So it helps you to build your profits. We aim for over 100% ROI or profit margins being double what we're paying. So if we're selling a $25 bundle, we expect to profit wise probably make between $10 and $15 per unit. So we really strive to not do volume, but do more of building in a healthy profit margin with every bundle we create, so that we don't have to sell 5,000 units of something you're making like maybe 70 cents on. Instead, we're selling, maybe 50 to 100 units of something you're making $10 to $15 on. So it's a lot less volume to work with.
Yeah, definitely. I also consider that you're more liquid that way, because you don't need like upfront cost. It won't be so high. So you can actually start with different types of bundles or lots of bundles rather than one single bundle that you have to sell like high velocity. I definitely agree on that. And also when it comes to sourcing, we were talking about, by the way, I love your story that you went to Costco and just found out, look, this canola bar is not selling, how to make it work,
Yeah.
So I think here, now today, if I am going out there, it's still working the same method, or who to approach in this case for sourcing?
So if you're sourcing with wholesale, the best way to find wholesalers, actually you can go to mommyincome.com/100. It's a little mini video on how to find wholesale vendors. And you can find hundreds of them without paying money, without going anywhere, without anything. I love trade shows because when I go to trade shows, I can meet the people, I can see the products, I can touch them, I can know kind of are they good quality or not good quality. So I like to go to trade shows, but the video really shows you how to go to trade shows virtually and reach out to vendors and just kind of see what products they offer. And building the bundles is more of like the research process and figuring out what goes with what and what customers are willing to buy. But with sourcing, it's really just, I say start with your knowledge bank, whatever and are comfortable with, a certain lifestyle product, or maybe you really love fashion or you are into cars, whatever it is, go to where first, because and understand the customer. If you can understand what the customer wants and needs, it's very easy to create products for them to buy and bundles that they would want to buy together. So understanding your customer is really important. If there's something you're passionate about, those are always great products to sell. But you can literally do it from any catalog, anywhere, at any time. And getting those vendors, you can simply do that, watch the video and see how to do it online, or you can go to any local trade shows that are available if they're open still with pandemic and everything. But it's not really about the product. It's really more about the customer and what they're looking for and need and supplying that need.
I love that. And also we're going to include the link that you mentioned in our show notes. You were saying what the customer needs. So sometimes, as far as I understand, it's about offering value to your customer. That's the whole trick, or that's the whole value of bundling things. How would you, let's say you have a bundle of 3 items, 5 items, and me as a customer, I need only 2 of them. How would you still persuade them to buy your bundle?
Sometimes it's about looking, well, first of all, you don't want to build a bundle that somebody doesn't want all the items in. So that's part of the research process, is figuring out the majority of customers who buy these things, buy them together. So, think of, I'll go back to cars for a second, a car cleaning kit. So you might have a couple of those products at home, but they run out. And so you want to, buy more, or appealing to someone that's maybe a gift for a boss, or Mother's Day is coming. So it'd be like a Mother's Day type bundle, and putting something together there that's a nice value add for that. That's why gift bundles work really well together, because it's more about the person receiving the gift and how it's packaged and all the wonderful things they'll enjoy, rather than, buying personal things like your HDMI cord or, something silly like that like everybody needs, but it doesn't matter. So it's more about appealing to the customer ahead of time and creating that value for them. Another one of the greatest bundle examples I would have would be, I was looking for sunglasses on Amazon, and I love sunglasses in all kinds of different kinds. And I probably have like 50 pairs, but I was looking for a specific kind. They were pink. They were just like pretty, and I wanted them. And I bought them on Amazon, but I had no idea that when I got the package, it was in a really nice box. The case was really strong, heavy duty. They included one of those lens cleaners. And there was also like a guarantee in there that I didn't even know. They had like a printed thing that says, if these ever get scratched, you send them back. We'll give you new ones. Like, it was just such a customer experience that it didn't matter to me how much I paid for that. It was a bundle that came with the case, and it came with the lens cleaner and the glasses. And when your customer really feels well taken care of like that, even if you spend a little bit extra on your packaging, that really creates value. And the customer is like, wow, these people, I just bought a pair of sunglasses and they were not expensive. They were like less than $20. But the whole idea that they made me feel special as a customer, and makes me want to go back and buy more things from them, because I know they take care of the product and they take care of me. So part of the value of bundling is also creating a decent package that goes in that really makes the customer feel like this is a special item, and you didn't just kind of throw it together in a bag and sent it just to make a couple extra dollars.
Yeah, I love that. And also I believe that most of the time you're not selling the item, you're selling the experience, right? And if the experience sucks, then it's like, it doesn't matter even if the item like works, or it's like exactly what you needed for the purpose, it's still like, I have no connection with that brand, right? And here actually that brings up on the next question, which would be, okay, you're creating the customer experience, but in this case, because as far as I understand, it's wholesale, right? So they're not your private label product. How to still like create that experience?
So that's a good question. And with wholesale bundles, you actually are creating a new listing with products. So you're creating a brand kind of around these other products. It's like I consider like a sub brand. So in order to really, like, I do a lot of gift bundles. So we'll go back to Mother's Day, for example. So I might be sourcing some products from a wholesale company. Maybe there's a candle, and maybe there's a notebook and a pen and like a mug that says, you know, best mom or something. And then I'm putting it in my own box. So my actual brand is, it's not my brand, but I would call it Kristin's Favorite Things, and it's Kristin's Favorite Things gift sets. And so my box, my packaging has a little logo. It says Kristin's Favorite Thing gifts, and this person is still getting this experience, but I'm not branding the items inside of it. I'm actually just branding the concept of the gift box, the gift basket. And it can work even for, if it's not a gift, it can work for a kit or a set or a package, something like that, that you're creating this experience around. So I highly recommend, even if it's not a brand that you wanted to be on like store shelves or something, but it's kind of like you said, creating that experience which sets you apart. And also to just put this out there. A lot of people think with wholesale or with products to do well on Amazon that they have to be really well-known brand names of things. And honestly, I teach that you should go for generic. And when I say generic, I don't mean cheap, bad stuff, but things that like brands. There's a lot of good quality products out there that don't have a brand on them. So, like there's a sign hanging up behind me here. It's a really high quality sign, nice, but it doesn't have a brand. I just bought it at the local store. It doesn't, it's not Nike. It's not, some sort of brand. So remembering that a lot of wholesale products that people buy don't really have brands attached to them. So that's why I kind of created my own brand. I call it a bundle brand. So my bundle brand, Kristin's Favorite Things, and I can put, kitchen sets together. I can put baby sets together. I can put different sets together and brand it as my own. But I'm not stealing somebody's brand. I'm using their wholesale products as a collection to sell to the customer. So it's really, there's not brand confusion there. It really just is, people are buying items. They don't necessarily sit down at the Amazon, search bar and type in specific brands, unless maybe they're looking for Nike shoes or a specific kind of makeup. But other than that, they're like baby gift set or parts for my Nintendo Switch or, vacuum filters. Like you just never know, but people aren't usually typing in specific brands. They're just looking for products.
Definitely. I love that. And I totally agree with what you're saying. Now that you are saying that people are typing things and looking for products, search volume, how important search volume is when you're looking to create your new bundle?
I think that search volume has less to do with the popularity and more to do with the demand, more to do with the supply. So as a seller, it's more important to see the holes in the marketplace rather than how popular they are. Because I'll look at one of my favorite research tools is Merchant Words. I love Merchant Words, and I look at search volume specifically with Merchant Words. And one of my favorite things about it is that it gives me the searches per month. And so people are always asking, well, how many searches per month are you looking for to find something, that will have good sales volume? And you want enough to where there's enough people searching for it. And to me, that's at least 1,000. And the reason, and I'm going to clarify that because most people would freak out if it only had 1,000 searches, they wouldn't buy anything, right? They're freaking out about 1,000 searches a month is really nothing. However, it's about the supply. If you have someone searching a specific keyword 1,000 times a month, but there's only 3 products that are related to that search, then you're going to get the lion's share of the search volume to your listing because there's only 3 or 4 products that match. Now, if you've got something that's got 100,000 searches a month, but then you type that into Amazon and you realize that there's 10,000 products you're competing against, you're going to get lost in the shuffle. So I like to aim for lower niche keywords that people use to find the hidden holes in the marketplace and then provide products for that particular people. Because my philosophy is you don't have to sell to everyone. You don't have to sell millions of products. You don't have to sell millions of units. You just have to sell enough products to enough people to make the income that you want. And so it doesn't have to be high volume. It just has to be in the right sweet spot. You want to get the lion's share of all of the search volume. So I go for more of the hidden gems rather than low-hanging fruit. And I like to search a little bit deeper to find the hidden spots where people are still looking for product, but there's just not a lot of competition.
I love that. I love that. And also because of that, also the intent to buy is going to be way higher rather than something that is very highly searched and maybe it's just like gaining a click and so on, but no one's going to buy it. So definitely I agree on that. As by the way, I also use, so we own our own brand and we have private label products, and they're also like the long tail keyword, the longest the tail it is, the more specific it is. Look, this customer is definitely going to buy that product because it was like 5, 6, 7 words, and some people are saying, hey, 7 words is a whole phrase, yeah, but my customer is looking for that, so I'm going to bid for it, so totally, definitely agree on that. Could you share some tips on how would you, or ideas or places you were mentioning merchant words, where you're looking for, okay, these are the keywords and also products as well?
I'm not sure I understand your question. So
yeah. Sorry for that. So you were mentioning merchant words as like the right place to find keywords. And to add to that, would you look for keywords to find products, or would you look in other places as well to find products?
Okay, so I'll clarify with merchant words is where you bring the keywords that you're searching for. You already have some keyword ideas. And when you type those in, it will show you the popularity. They'll show you specific listings that come up when you use those particular things. And in order from, largest to smallest, the keywords, the keyword phrases, the brands, the different things. So it's a really great tool to kind of validate your idea. So if you have an idea for a product you want to bring to the table, and then you look through the search terms, you can see at which level people are searching, all the way down, like you said, to the long tail keywords where they don't get as much search volume. But if you have that phrase in there, you're like the only one that, like you said, that intent to buy is going to be almost 100% because you're hitting those specific keyword phrases. So I love that they have so many different tools and things that you can use within merchant words, but it's also pretty straightforward and easy for beginners because it can just give you, hey, if you're searching for, curly hair shampoo, and it comes up, you can see the search value, you can see how many products are there on page 1 of Amazon, so you can see kind of the top competitors, and it helps you really make a decision on whether or not the market is too saturated or there's opportunity for you to fill in the gaps with bundles or a private label product or, something you already have access to.
Got it. Okay, so merchant words is just something that you're going to validate the data or the idea that you already have, not necessarily a place that you're, okay. Because I was asking that question because most of the time, like, as I was mentioning private label, people are looking, they're just putting in filters and just looking for products, So I was thinking, is that also the way how you would use merchant words, or it's like you're just having an idea and just the confirmation that, yeah, that's working?
Yeah, it's more of mining the data once you have an idea for something, and even getting the ideas. Within my wholesale bundle system, I teach a 12-step framework research process. And part of that is you don't even have to have ideas. I can hand you, in my workshops, I hand my students in their groups a page from a catalog that they've never seen before. And then we give them the framework and they have to work through each step. And by the end, they come up with a profitable bundle to sell based on just doing the research process. So you don't even have to start with a great idea. You can just start with a catalog and you can start researching the products and seeing, oh, does this make a good bundle? Does it not? What are the keywords? Is there a customer base for this? And so whether or not you have great ideas, you can use the process to make it work to, create profitable listings and profitable bundles.
I love that. I think that that's something that I totally missed when I started. It's like I didn't know how to validate my ideas. Sometimes it was like, does it work? Or is it only in my mind? Or would this make sense for someone else? Well, so I totally like that approach of like you having like mentoring people to really understand why that it's a good choice for them. Definitely. I love that. Also, here, like you were saying, validating idea, what are the most common newbie mistakes you see that people are making when, like, okay, they're just starting out?
So when it comes to bundling, when it comes to putting things together, there's a couple of mistakes that people make. Number one is assuming upon something without just doing the research. So a lot of people will first, go and say, oh, this is cute, or I really like this, and so I want to sell this. But then they don't validate it with data, or they just think something's cute and they think it's going to go well together. To where the research process is really putting in the validation. Well, okay, this is cute. Now let's try it through the system and go through the steps. And our customers looking for this. What are they calling it? How is it going to be used? The other mistake people really make is skipping too many steps, just jumping ahead and going straight to Amazon instead of going through all the research process steps that you go through to validate an idea overall. We have so many things that we can validate ideas from. We have Pinterest, we have Google, we have eBay, Etsy, Amazon, all these things. And people want to run right to Amazon and look there first, when my research process doesn't go to Amazon until like almost halfway through. So we're doing all this other vetting and all this other validation before we even go to Amazon, because we want to make sure it's a well-rounded, a well-received idea. Even if it's not super popular, doesn't mean it's not a well-rounded idea. And making sure that, looking at things like frequently bought together, looking at merchandising from a store. So you walk into any store, and brick and mortar stores are brilliant at their marketing and their merchandising. People have whole careers setting up merchandising displays to make sure that products look good together so people buy them together. Because what's good as a vase if you don't have something to put inside of it to make it look beautiful? So they put fake flowers in vases, and you go to stores like Kirkland's where it's just, this whole big fancy thing, but it's so on purpose how they do things that way. And so paying attention to the entire market rather than what's on Amazon, and people shop. Sellers in particular are always just looking for that data point. They're like, how much money am I going to make on this? When the real question needs to be, how can I create the most value for my customer so that they will pay my price for what I'm providing for them? And so I think that's where people miss the mark, is that they're just looking at numbers and data, and they're not thinking about the real person that's sitting behind that computer or that phone making that decision. And so thinking more about the customer and less about your bottom line first will really help you bring the best products to the table.
I love that. And I love that you are saying thinking of the customer. Most of the time, as I see, most people are there for the quick win. So if it's quick, yeah, I'm in for it, and they are paying for, I don't know, courses and like lots of training and everything. And it's like they are missing the most important step, like filter everything, to make sure, and then try it out. And then if it's working, great. If it didn't work, why didn't it work, So it's like a process. It's not like easy, like money-making tips, because it's not, So I love that you were saying that. Also, like customer value, we were talking about, okay, making sure that the packaging and the packaging is right, and also the customer feels that it's someone who cares for them. What are like some of your tips or the best practices here to make sure that they will know that you care for them and your bundle makes sense for them?
I think especially when it comes to Amazon, with products being exchanged to so many hands and so many packages, to then mailing and shipping and warehouse and all the stuff, that good quality packaging to protect the items. There's nothing that makes a customer more. I know you've probably had it happen. I've had it happen many times where you're excited to order something, you order a product, and it comes broken. Or it comes ripped, or it comes like something is wrong with the packaging, and it's like it's not new anymore. Something gets ruined. Even a book, you're like just really discouraged that like this brand new book I can't wait to open is like
The front page is smashed. Yeah.
I hate it. You're just like disappointed. So I think spending a tiny bit extra on a package, a box, there's plenty of companies out there. I know on our resource page, we have, some things that we list there, like Nashville Wraps is a company, but like custom packaging now is even a lot less expensive than before. And there's so much nicer to receive something in a nice quality package than just throwing it in a cheap poly bag and hoping that it gets there. I mean, yes, there's times and places to save money and, stuff like that. But like when you have that experience, even on Amazon, where you open a package and it's in a nice quality packaging, even if it's like a bubble mailer that's got a pretty color or something like that, going a little bit of an extra mile there and spending a couple extra cents or something on your packaging will really help the customer feel cared for. I mean, you've ever gone into a boutique shop and when you leave, they put tissue paper around the dress that you bought and they put it in a really pretty bag, and you just feel like you walked out with something super fancy, even if it wasn't, because they took the time to care about your experience. And so a little bit goes a long way when Amazon customers make, maybe it's an extra piece of tissue paper or upgraded packaging in some sort, so that people will remember that and they'll remember that brand, even if it's Kristin's favorite things, gift sets or something cheesy like that. But still, people will come back and say, what else did this company offer? Because they gave me such a good experience. So packaging is the fastest and probably least expensive way to upgrade something. Another way that you could really bring some value is to add something that goes along with what you're doing as a freebie that you never mentioned in the package. So maybe it's something, so if you were selling, wine glasses or something like that, maybe adding something that has to do with wine. Maybe you put in a wine stopper as just a free gift and you never mention the free gift. It can just have a little tag on it that says, thank you for purchasing from us. Please enjoy this free whatever. And people are just like, oh, who doesn't love free? Who doesn't love a gift? But don't put that as part of your listing. Just include that as part of your packaging as an extra. And those things can cost pennies on the dollar, but the customer feels special because they got this free thing that you never even mentioned. And it was a true surprise. And who doesn't love surprises? So I'm always about putting a little bit of extra into that because it brings customers back and they tell other people about this experience, and word of mouth is everything.
I love that. I just received something like last week. I ordered and it wasn't in the listing, and I was like, "What's this?" And they are looking so cute. Some cat socks. I think cat socks for your chair. And even though it's like something that I wouldn't use, it's not working with my style, but still, that's so thoughtful. Like I wouldn't have thought of that. So definitely, I agree with that. And this is something that I also have to integrate with what we're doing now, because sometimes you're just getting numbers, but then you're value. When are you offering value? So definitely, that's a really, really good idea that I can implement right away, I think. I think when it's coming to bundles, you were saying about, if you have like 3 competitors, it's highly likely that, it's more likely that your product is going to be chosen, or like the customer is going to buy it. When it's coming to competitors, if your market is starting to get more and more competitors, how would you differentiate with what you already have?
Is just like what we talked about. A way to differentiate is having a better experience as far as better packaging, which usually better packaging invokes more reviews because people can't wait to say how much they love something. And also you differentiate yourself with the bundle. So when you're talking about bundling, you're already differentiating yourself from all your competitors because they might be selling single unit products. So when you're doing your competition research, remember that comparing a bundle is not, you don't compare bundles to single unit wholesale items. That's apples and oranges comparison. So you only compare the bundle as if there's other bundles that are similar, and they need to be the same in order. So you can have an iPhone case versus an iPhone case, but then you still have apples and oranges within iPhone cases, right? Because like maybe I want a pink sparkly iPhone case, and so my only competitor to pink sparkle iPhone case is another pink sparkle iPhone case that might be a different color, a different shade, different types of sparkles, but those are apples to apples versus apples to oranges. So if we have a newborn baby gift set that we're selling with like 3 different outfits and some blankets and some booties, and then we just have blankets, we can't compare those to each other. So making sure that what you're bringing to the table already differentiates itself because it's a bundle versus just a set of blankets that comes from the manufacturer. Now you have this entire set. Oh, and by the way, it comes into this wonderful box that all you have to do is wrap that box, or you can put that box in a bag and take it to a baby shower, and then you're all done. So those are the types of things that do set you apart from your competitors already, because you can get into a competitive niche if you want to, competitive categories, but making sure that the bundle itself that you put together with 3 to 5 items or whatever it is automatically sets yourself apart. Because say you're doing a listing, doing something looking for that baby blankets, and you see a bunch of listings with baby blankets, and then all of a sudden you see this whole bundle where you've got baby blankets plus all the different things. Now you've already set yourself apart from the competition because they get more and better from your package than they would do just getting blankets.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. I think that also, as you were saying, will add to the value you're offering, which is there clearly there. You were mentioning 3-5 pieces of something. Like, is there a limit how many products should you have in a bundle?
There's a sweet spot, I think, and then there's not necessarily a limit. But I like 3 to 5 items max, and there's reasons for that. The reasons why you don't want to do too many items is, number one, you have discontinued items, you have back order items, you have things you have to wait for, and you can't ship your product in because it's not complete. So the more parts and pieces that you add, the more difficult it becomes to make sure you have all of your inventory at once, and you don't have back order issues, you don't have things that are discontinued, and then you have to revamp your entire listing, and you don't want to have those kind of problems. So having 3, I like to say 3 to 5 items, but even 2 items is a bundle. We had at one point long ago, I know you can't really do Lego as much anymore without being approved, but back in the day, we used to do like a Lego set with a carry case, so that like when the parts weren't all together, you've got your Lego set, your carry case, and it was a perfect match. And so that was only 2 items. But then we've seen people do items like the Nintendo Switch case that my daughter just got, and I bought it on Amazon. It was a bundle. It was a kit with a case and a screen protector and an extra battery and an extra cord, and it had the little covers, the silicone covers for the little knobs. So that all came together, and that was probably 8 to 10 items, I think, in that package. But again, those where I caution to when it comes to like manufacturing or buying from wholesale, things that are discontinued. You don't want to have to constantly redo your listing of something that's discontinued. So I find that 3 to 5 items is about the max I like to do in a bundle, because it just it simplifies the process without having to run into a lot of problems.
Got it. Makes sense. And they're like, it brings up next question yet again. Like, whenever you're going to contact wholesalers, is there this myth out there that if you're selling already on Amazon, or if you're an Amazon seller, air quotes here, that you won't be accepted, or it will be like harder to be accepted by wholesaler cards? How does it work?
So I have it inside the wholesale bundle system. I have some email templates, and I also have, or if it's in person, if you're talking, which I prefer face-to-face conversations with vendors at trade shows, because you get a lot more yeses than you get nos when you can really explain to someone what you're doing. So part of the approach is telling the vendor that yes, you sell on Amazon, but here's how you do it differently. Number one, you let them know you're not competing directly with them or with Amazon or any other Amazon sellers, because you're putting their item in a bundle. So it's not going to be direct competition. So if someone's buying product A and they're only selling that as single unit product, you're going to put product A with some other company's products as a gift set. And so you're not a direct competitor, which they like, because they don't want more competitors. They just want, they want to protect their brand. So always looking at creating the win-win for the vendor. The vendor, the distributor, the suppliers, the wholesalers, they really they want to make sure their brand is protected, and they want to make their money, and they want to make it consistently. So letting them know this is a bundle, this is how you're able to move the volume, because you're not directly competing, you're doing something unique and different. So that usually perks people's ears up to say, oh, well, we can let you try that for a time and see if that works out. Because what they're really trying to do if they say no Amazon is they're trying to protect their brands. They're trying to protect their brick and mortar customers who sell these things in stores. And if all of a sudden it pops up on Amazon, then their brick and mortar stores are losing business, and they have relationships with them. So making sure that when you're approaching vendors about bundling, that you just paint the picture of bundling being different, and it's more approachable, and it doesn't impede on the competition of other people, and also mentioning that you're going to protect their brand and the integrity of their products, and you will definitely represent their brand in a way that they would appreciate. And so it's just making it about them will really up your chances of them saying yes.
Would it also make sense in case that you have your own private label to bundle it with other other type of products that are in the same niche?
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of my clients have come to me with the private label products that they've created but haven't gotten any traction, or there's just so much competition. And so I've worked with them to create bundles around their private label product. And now all of a sudden they're making even more money, because not only do they have a private label product within their bundle, and they're, bundling with other wholesale products, but also they're setting themselves apart for that. They're making a little bit more money, and they're moving their private label product. It's always a great way. I mean, if we think about things in single unit items, sometimes you need one thing, but if you can get 3 things and you like all 3 things, then why not do the upgrade, right? It's just the easy upsell. So you could always have your single unit private label product and then put one in a bundle to test it out, to see if people like the more for less, or, the prices don't even have to be lower. Sometimes people pay more because they know they're getting more. So, it's not always about price. It's mostly about convenience and value for the customer, and Amazon customers are willing to pay a premium.
Love it. Convenience and value. That's it. That's definitely it. And in this scenario, if you have your private label, what would you advise? Should you open up a different account? Would you use it under the same account that you already have?
I would probably, if you're creating a bundle with a private label product that you already offer, I would keep it under the same brand, under the same product. I don't love multiple Amazon accounts. I created a brand and brand registry and a trademark that was general enough to house most products without it being a specific brand. So especially if you have a trademark or brand registry, you might as well just keep that and go with a similar brand. But yeah, keep it under the same, and then create bundles around it. And it can be the same type of brand name that you have, whatever your brand name is, and putting it with a bundle to see, testing the waters, because you just never know until you try. And if you've already got products, then you can pair it with 1 or 2 other items and give it a shot. What have you really got to lose?
That's amazing news. I think that it's something that we're going to go for it, because as you were saying, if it's the same brand and it's the same account, that's super convenient. So definitely. Are there any questions that I should have asked and I haven't so far?
Not really. I think that I just wanted to clarify for anyone who's new, or maybe you have a private label product already, just to give bundles a try. I mean, give it a try to see what it could look like, because differentiating yourself on Amazon is becoming more and more difficult. And, we don't all have to reinvent the wheel all the time. I created this process and the wholesale bundle framework and system because I tried everything else. I tried straight wholesale. I've tried private label. I've tried retail arbitrage, all the different business models. And what I realized was that wholesale bundles is a hybrid that gets you kind of the best of both worlds. You get the benefits of wholesale, of private label, because you don't have to share your buy box with anyone else. You're creating a new product listing under your own bundle brand using products someone else is manufacturing. So you don't have your hands in every single process. It simplifies it. And with wholesale, straight up wholesale is great too, but the margins are a lot thinner and you have to sell a lot of volume to make a decent living. So when you bundle wholesale with a private label product and you kind of create this hybrid, now you get the protection and the buy box ownership and no competition of the private label, but then you get the margins and the quantities of wholesale. And it's just a perfect marriage of profit. I have made the most profit from wholesale bundles than any other method I've tried, and I've tried them all.
Yeah, definitely. And I love it. And also I love, as you were saying, like, it's also liquidity there, but it's also like with private label, most of the time what you're doing, just putting money and you're not actually taking out money, because like inventory all over the time. So you're trying to not get out of stock, and it's like a whole, like a lots of money put like in front, and you're not going to touch it. So I love that. I definitely love that. To be respectful of your time, Kristin, before we wrap up, I have a few questions that I'd love to ask of our guests. First of all, it's like, what is your best $50 purchase or less that you invested in learning more or to improve your wholesale bundling techniques?
I'm not so sure. I guess maybe my favorite thing is just the tool that I use. I use Merchant Words a lot, but I created the wholesale bundle system, so I didn't really buy it or invest in that. But I think just more of it is focusing on what business model that you want to follow, and then just listening or watching as much of the free content as you can with the people that you respect the most, and then really maybe investing with the people once you've vetted and tried out. Never looking for, if someone's promising you Lamborghinis and all these, the mansions, house on the hill, and you can make $10 million by the end of this year. If people are promising you get rich quick, run away, because the reality is long-term sustainability in business is what you want. And it's also, what people don't tell you is that it's a sellable asset. It's not just a way to generate some cash flow right now and get the quick wins. If you build a sustainable business up front, which is not fast and it's not necessarily easy, but when you do it, maybe give yourself a year or so, then you've built up a sellable asset. So if you're done with your Amazon store, you can sell it to someone else and make even more profit than you were making on the day-to-day. So always look at your business as a sellable asset and treat it as such.
I love that. I wish that I had you and this advice right at the beginning of our FBA journey, because we didn't. And it's like, you don't know what you don't know until you know it. So clearly, right. Definitely. What are your top 3 books that you love all the time, like favorites? And why?
Oh, wow. Okay. Favorite books. I have a few. One of them is No Excuses by Brian Tracy. He really just cuts to the chase. He gets you action steps. He doesn't let you continue making excuses for why you can or can't do anything. So I definitely love to go back to that one when I need a little kick in the butt because I'm having some bad days. Another one recently actually was just very entertaining, but also has a lot of wisdom, is Green Lights from Matthew McConaughey's new book. And I like to listen to it on Audible because it's very entertaining, the way that he reads and the way that he talks. The book is kind of a memoir, but he's a great storyteller and lots of just nuggets of wisdom in it. So I love to hang on to that. That's one of my new favorites. I've actually listened to it a time and a half now because it is just, it's good stuff. And then another one of my favorites, I guess, is my own. I know it seems silly to say that, but I've actually, because I teach a lot of the stuff that's in there, and it's not Amazon based. It's more of just like kind of getting to your big dreams. So dream big, step small. And I actually, because I teach it, I go back through it a lot and try to teach certain sections. And I'm just always reminded of how simple success can be if you just take one small step at a time. So I need those reminders. And so it's one of my favorites to go back to because I need to be reminded. I want fast and quick too. I mean, who doesn't? But the reality is that nothing great happens like that. It's just a journey and a process. So.
Love it. And I love your super confidence. And I love when you can actually promote something that you believe in. So I really appreciate that you brought up your book as well, because I believe that's true. If you don't offer value, then why would you promote it? So you offer value, promote it. That's great.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Kristin, how can people get a hold of you or learn more about your courses? You mentioned a bundling system, whatever you have to offer.
I am mommyincome.com everywhere you go. On all the socials, it's mommyincome.com. If you're interested in the wholesale bundle system or learning more about that, it's mommyincome.com/system. And you can check out the wholesale bundle system there and all the events and things we offer. I also teach a weekly podcast, the Amazon Files. So you can always subscribe and download that and kind of lean in and listen into Amazon tips. And, we do interviews, and I do some just personal teaching there as well to kind of help inspire and motivate you to continue to take in those next steps.
Sounds amazing. Thank you so much once again for being on the podcast. You've been amazing. You shared so much value, and I personally will just come back and listen to it because it's super valuable. So thank you once again, Kristin. And for everyone listening or watching this, thank you so much for attending, I would say. This was like a crash course on how to do stuff. So I really appreciate your time and see you next week. Bye-bye.
It was fun sharing this episode with you. If you found value in what you've heard, please show your love with a subscribe, rate, and review of the show. Until next time.